Hey, what's going on? Seth here. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create and edit your own documents and templates in Stride. So once you're in your Stride account, you go right over here to Contracts in the left sidebar. You open this up, and the first thing you'll want to ask yourself is, am I about to create or edit a contract that I want to use again and again and again in the future? Or am I just creating a one-time document that I'm going to use once and then never again? Because that's going to educate the next step you take. So if you're just creating a one-time document, you can go right here and just click on New. And you do have the option to upload an existing PDF. The only problem with that is that if you're using a PDF, you're not going to be able to edit any of the text after it's uploaded. So you'll be able to insert like signature blocks and that kind of thing. But like, say if you want to add a line or insert words, you can't do that if you're starting from a PDF. So usually, if you have it, it makes a lot more sense to copy and paste the text over from a Word document or a Google Doc or whatever you're starting from. So templates is where you would go when you do want to reuse that document again and again. For example, something like a purchase agreement. We've got our sample purchase agreement in here. If you want, you can use it exactly as it's written, or you can edit it if you want, or you can upload whatever version of your purchase agreement that you want. Or maybe you have some other document like a option or an assignment or a lease or whatever that we don't even have in here. You could just upload that from scratch too. So first of all, I'll show you, if you want to edit one of our existing templates, you could just open this actual original template and start editing it. But just for the sake of having the original untouched, what I'd usually do is go over here, click on this and click clone. It's going to make a copy of that, and then you can start editing the copy. I'm recording this on August 18. You can see this one I just made. So this is where I would then go to edit the copy of it. I'm just going to delete this because I don't really need it. But if you want to create something totally new from scratch, like just a blank slate, you would click on New, and we're going to say New Template, and it's going to open this up. And what you essentially have here is kind of like a Google Doc, but the way that you edit this is a little bit different than if you were just opening up a Google Doc online. So I have this Word document here. I just generated this for the sake of this tutorial just so I can show how it works. So I'm going to copy this whole thing, get this out of the way. And before I can paste any text here, first I need to actually drag a text block onto the page. So to do that, you go and click on this and we find this text block. I'm going to drag it over here and I can just overwrite this with the stuff that I just copied, just like that. I can also give this a name up here. And if I wanted to like dress this up, I could even like drag images on here. So I could put like my company logo at the top, that kind of thing. I'm not going to mess with that, but just know you can do that. You can basically drag over anything that you see here. It could be a video, it could be all the stuff. But the main thing I'm concerned about here is I want to insert different fields that can automatically update for the next guy or girl that I send this to. So for today, I might be sending this to John Smith, but tomorrow I want to send it to Jane Doe. And I don't want to have to get in here and manually type that out every time. I just want it to update from my CRM every time. It's totally doable. Here's how you do it. So let's go ahead and close this thing. So right here where it says recipient full name. Now, in order for this to work properly, you have to actually have that person's information in your CRM first, and then it can pull all that stuff in. So for example, if we go back over here to the dashboard and we click on contacts, not contracts, but contacts. So you can see all the contacts in your list. We're going to use this person as an example. And we can see we actually don't have all of his information in here yet, like his property address, property size, city, state, zip code. It's all blank. So until that information is filled in, nothing is going to pull over to our contract if we use those as merge fields. So just be aware of that. If you ever do want to fill this stuff in really quickly, I've got a video explaining how to hook up the Stride API to the Land Portal API. And you can actually very quickly pull this information in, all the property details, the mailing address. You can even skip trace them, all that stuff. But first big point is, if you want to pull the information over to your contract, the information needs to actually be here first. So for example, we do have the first and last name already. So we can go over here and where it says recipient's full name, we're going to go right up here and click on this custom values button. And we're going to go here to contact. And this is where we can pull over all that information from the contact. So in this case, I'm going to say full name, but I could just have it be the first name. If I wanted to just say John, I could have it be just the last name. If I wanted to say Smith, you get the idea. Now, when it says business name, it's the same kind of deal where the business name has to actually be in that person's contact or it's not going to work. So we could click on this. In this case, we'd need to actually find the company and put the company name in there. When we go over here to the contact, you can see there's a ton of stuff here. Like you can be scrolling a long time trying to find the one field you're looking for. So a quick way to find it is right up here. Just type out what you're looking for. So I could say business. And I'm going to find business name. So this is where I could put whatever his business name is, ABC Company, for example. Now, when we save this, once we've got that filled in, we're going to come back here to business name. And then we're going to click on this and we will click on contact again. And just like before, we search for that business name in the contact, so we can search for it here as well. We're going to find additional info, business name. There we go. So it's going to insert right there in the document whatever we put right in here. So moving on, so mailing address. Again, we don't have the mailing address inserted here yet, but let's just go ahead and fill that in just for the sake of this example. And you'll notice we have property address and property size. That's a different thing from their actual mailing address. So the mailing address goes right here. I'll just say 1234 Anywhere Street in Anywhere. We'll say this is in Colorado, and I'm making up a zip code. I don't know if that's even in Colorado, but we can go ahead and save that info here. And now in this document, we're going to grab the mailing address. So we'll click on this. We'll go to contact. And again, we're going to want to make sure that we pull in the right field from the right place. So we'll notice this one says specifically street address. So I want to make sure I get that exactly, because I see there's this like address 1 here. There's the full address. I'm not exactly sure where that's pulling from. I'm going to type in exactly the field that I want to pull it from. So street address. I'll go here, type in street, and there we go. Contact street address. Now, if we want to insert the city, state, and zip, it's the same drill. We can go here and type in city, make sure we get that, city, and then state, and then postal code. Make sure it all matches up with this stuff here. City, state, postal code. Now, when it comes to the dates that we insert in here, there's different ways to do this. So if the objective is to insert today's date, whatever today is, the day that we're sending it out or the day that it's signed, we can go right here and go back here to where it says right now. And then we're going to pick date. So month, day, year. And that will insert whatever the date is right now. So you can see I'm recording this on August 18, 2026. And down here where it says anticipated closing date. So the reason this might be important is because, you're usually not planning to actually close the thing on the day that it's signed. So usually you might be giving yourself like a 30, 45, 60 day period before you actually close. So you would want to figure out whatever that anticipated closing date is. Then over here in the contact, there's a few important dates you'll probably want to have inserted here before you go over to generate this template. For example, the offer amount. This isn't necessarily a purchase agreement that I'm working on here, but if it was, I would want to make sure that's in here. So we could say $20,000. The offer date could be today. And then for the closing date, again, I'm just going to search for it rather than scroll through all those different things. So the acquisition closing date, we're going to say that's going to be, 30 days from now. So we could say September 18, 2026. Go ahead and save this. And now when we go back here for that anticipated closing date, we're going to go back here and look for closing date. So acquisition closing date. There we go. So that would insert that here. And then down here where it says recipient signature, one thing you could do is to go ahead and insert those things in here right now. So we could take the signature field and put it right here. And most of the time with a purchase agreement, there's obviously going to be at least 2 people signing, the buyer and the seller. But in this case, it's just that of the recipient who's signing it. So I would want to drag that here and then actually select the correct person who's going to receive this. So I would select John Smith right here. The email address is already in there. And then for the date field, I could drag that over here. And then this would be filled out by that person at the time when they sign it. If you've ever used PandaDoc or DocuSign or anything like that, it's pretty much the exact same thing. But this actually goes a step further, which I'll show you in just a second here. So right here, I could go ahead and save this. And now I can see sample agreement in my list of templates. So now this is a reusable template. And from here, we can go click this and click use template. And this is going to create a new instance of this template. So it's not editing the original one I just made. It's basically just creating a new one with all these placeholders in there. And from here, we can go ahead and select who's going to be signing this thing. So we'll select John Smith. And now John Smith's information is going to be applied here. And from here, we can go ahead and preview this to make sure it actually looks the way we think it's going to look. And there we go. We can see the information popping in there just like we put it in there. Now, one thing to note, if I hadn't filled in one of these fields underneath the contact, then we wouldn't see the ugly bracketed contact address thing. It would just be blank, as though nobody had ever put anything there. And then down here, you can see signature block, all that stuff. I'm just going to ignore this company representative stuff. Doesn't really apply for what I'm doing here. But from here, once we're ready to send this thing, we can either send the document via email. So it's basically going to send them an email with a link to sign the document. And it's going to keep track of that from within the conversation in that contact. So I'll go ahead and just send it just so you can see what I'm talking about. Go ahead and send this thing. And when you send it, you could do either email and text, or just a text. I'm just going to send it by email. Go ahead and do that. And keep in mind, another way we could have done this is to share it just via a link. So you could copy this link, and from here you could text it to him, you could email it to him, you could send it to him in Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, whatever you want to do. But when we send this thing by email, we can come back here to the contact and we can actually see this thing over here. There's now a document that's been added. Says sample agreement and it's been sent. And also if we go back here and look at the contract section from a higher level, and we can also see under the waiting for others section, we can see John Smith is one of the people that we're waiting for. And when he opens that thing up, this is going to change the status from sent to viewed. So we'll actually know, hey, he at least got the thing. He hasn't signed it yet, but he viewed it. And whenever the day comes, Lord willing, that John signs this thing, it will show up in this completed list. We'll be able to open it up and see the legally binding digital signature there. And from there, we can forward it on to our title company or do whatever we're going to do with it. So just wanted to give you that quick overview. That is how you can create and edit documents from scratch in Stride. And on this note, if you want to see another super helpful thing that can save you a ton of time, I've got another video where I'll show you how to generate and send purchase agreements with one click, utilizing a lot of the infrastructure I just showed you here. You can do this all from your Stride account. It's really something you should know about. It utilizes automations in a great way. Again, I'll include a link to that beneath this video if you want to check it out. And the idea with that whole process is not so much about creating a new document from scratch, but it's how do you use these documents very quickly once you've created them. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Talk to you later.